Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference 2025. And it is speaker time. And today we have Claudia Richard, all the way from the US of America, but you don't sound like it.
I don't sound like it, do I? Because you're right. I'm a Brit living in North Carolina. So there you go.
How did you end up over there?
Okay. So America is my happy place. I don't
Right.
mind saying. I lived in America when I was a little girl, from 6 to 9 years old. And I did. I can play really well. Okay. We had a lake at the bottom of our garden. I used to go out rowing on it. So I was really good at rowing. My mum never knew where I was. And I used to go fishing and climbing trees. And I just loved it. School, what was that? Kind of did it. And I'm just
Yeah,
really,
all of
really,
us, really. Yeah.
yeah, I'm really good at playing. And so it's my happy place. And then we went back to England and I went straight into boarding school. So yeah, I was 9 years old, and it was the most strange thing. But I always said I am moving back to America one day, and got to 50 years old, and there was some kind of thing going on with my husband's job as well, and we could and our other children, because we've got five between us, they were sort of old enough. We did invite the younger one to come with us as well. But our daughter, she was 12, and she said, "Yeah, I'm happy to come." And there you go. And
And
we came to America.
settled in North Carolina. And is that
Mhm.
where you were originally when up to nine?
So no, I was in Virginia Beach. So my dad was with NATO at
Far away.
Norfolk, Virginia. But we used to go to on our holidays to Atlantic Beach, which is one of my favorite beaches here. And so yeah, I love North Carolina. And you see,
Well,
North Carolina is really good. You got the beach at one end. In fact,
right.
if because you lay it that way, beach at one end, and then you've got the mountains for skiing and stuff
Oh,
there.
wow.
We are right in the middle.
Wow.
So yeah, not that I've done any skiing here yet. I keep working. I've been doing working. That kind of gets in the way, but I love my work, so it's okay.
Great. So, how did you get into hypnosis?
So my son had it for something, but prior to that, I was a beauty therapist. I trained at the London College of Fashion. I was manageress of a big salon in London, and I was the aromatherapist. So with you doing aromatherapy, you are building rapport with people
Mm,
really well because you're touching and seeing naked
yeah.
bodies. Okay. So I've always been able to do that. And plus, at boarding school, I was the one that would help people when they were sick or, when they were crying too much or whatever it was. I was always that person. Now, I was really loved the thought of, right, well, what's going on with their heads and what's going on. So I did counselling. I trained to become a counsellor, and I did sort of like was doing my fourth year, my degree of it, and it didn't happen because actually I then realised I had a choice and I didn't need to be in this awful marriage. So because by then I was married and had two children. So yeah, so that went by the by. However, still this need in me. My eldest son had hypnosis for something. I was very curious, and yeah, I just got into it, and I loved it, absolutely loved it, and I still do. I mean, absolutely can't get enough of it. Eat, breathe, and sleep in it.
We all do, don't we? It's addictive like that. Was that in the UK? Was that before you moved to the States?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was training in it for like 2011
Okay.
and 2013. I got my diploma, and so yes, and of course, when we love something, we get distinctions, and then again, I just trained and trained and trained. I
Mm.
I just did so much continual professional development because I was fascinated by it all. And so, yes, I learned all sorts of things, and I took hypnosis into schools as well.
Brilliant. Okay.
Mhm.
So that is where the start of the working with child came into it, is it?
Well, and again, 5 children, and it rains.
That's true, yeah.
Okay, it rains a lot.
And
So
I know the story behind it that you told me before. So,
yeah.
yeah, the children are still involved in that one. Yeah.
So, but we do activities. I used to do activities with our children. I used to draw around their bodies, and actually, I brought that into my therapeutic work, because that's what I would do with my children when I saw them, and then we would play, and they would sort things out on their bodies, and that is actually what I've brought into my new process, the bunny talk process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get onto that in a moment, but just before you go there, so you had your own practice in the UK. And then you moved to the US. So you basically restarted again from ground zero, did you?
I did. Yeah. I actually, and I did something really ridiculous as well. I just wiped my website from England.
All right. So you literally did start from ground zero.
Oh,
There was no history search in you, nothing.
no, nothing. And I had to start, and I went networking, and I'm fortunately, because I was in America, unfortunately, because of my English accent, people were like, "Ooh, who's this?" And I'm quite outgoing, so it was good, and I got clients straight away. However, I did have to wait for like 7 months for my work permit.
Okay.
So I couldn't even start, and I couldn't put a website up because I'd have been in trouble by the government. So I only went networking for 3 months, January, February, March. And then there was COVID.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And there was no networking. It suddenly went onto Zoom and things. Fortunately, I had made already enough contacts, and I had clients.
And they were all done by Zoom, were they?
No, I was allowed, because it was like a mental health thing. I was actually allowed to have them in person. I didn't have so many, and it was like, windows open, masks, and what have you, and do it following all the rules. But yeah, and it was I was lucky, and I continued to network. I continued to do all the things, and yeah, my business just. I was lucky. I started from ground zero again. And then I also did more trainings, because actually that was when I trained with, in 2020, with that was when I got really close with Beryl Coma, because we trained to become Nightingale dementia consultants. So we did another diploma. And then I also trained with Beryl, and I got my master NLP with her as well. Okay. So just more and more trainings, more and more, it's just like, that's what we love to do, isn't it?
Absolutely. And in Dublin, you're going to be talking about your bunny process. Where did you come up with that, or how long is that? You can tell us all about it, but
the bunny talk. Okay, well, it's something I developed with my daughter, and it's a communication skill. It was all through play. And like I said before, it was something that I've already been doing with my clients anyway, not necessarily the bunnies, but how I work with children.
Yeah.
And so I wrote the book, The Bunny Talk Process. It was a parent's journey in the Bunny Talk process. It's $2.99. It's on Amazon. It's short. It's easy to read. It is for parents.
Right.
And I wrote it for the parents so that it was best practice when there is a divorce for the children. Best practice for the children if you're a step parent. Mm-hmm. And then it's got the story about my daughter and I, and it's got how to build, that's an anchor, and other things to do with children. Also gives parents a lot of grace. Put my hand up. I used to be a shouty parent. There was 5 of them. But I was, I'll put my hands up to it. And so I give myself grace, and it's about being generous to yourself and models of the world and all this sort of thing. Now I spoke about it at Hypnothoughts Live, and I had various people coming up to me and saying, well, are you going to make it into a course? I said, well, no, because anybody can do shadow puppets, and it's for the parents to start doing that now, anchoring that in with their children. And they said, oh, right, well, we will then, if you don't. No, it's my story. So I did. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. When a parent gets in touch with me and says, can you fix my child? And I go to Possibly not the child. And I always invite the parents to come in, first of all, for a session. Now, my first session is always 2 hours long. And I draw these diagrams. Some I got from Beryl Coma, some of my own. And it's a lot around emotional intelligence, but it's a lot about awareness, self-awareness. And this is what I do with the parents. So I'm training this now in the course. So it's the how to speak to the parents so that they go, oh, we need to make changes as well. Yes, parents, you do. But they're seeing it for themselves as you're drawing these diagrams. And you're saying certain words, of course, and then they go, oh. So, and then they get the idea, it's the environment. Yes, it's the environment that we need to change.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've had some clients literally go, yeah, okay, we get it. It's us. And now they have stopped swearing at their children and stop making holes in the wall by their face. Seriously, that's happened.
Yeah. So who is it for, Claudia? Is it for the child? Is it for a set age on the child, or is it for all ages?
Okay, so good question. So the actual bunny talk is for the child.
Right.
When I'm actually doing it with the child, because that's what I'm talking about when I draw around their body and then we're playing. It's all through play. So they don't even know they're doing anything. And I explain about how their amygdala might work. But again, I use the expandable ball that we all get from Carl Smith. And it's about, I talk about poo on the brain. You've got the kids are like going poo. Adults do as well, because everybody understands about the poo. We all feel like poop sometimes. And so it is for the child. However, and I've got bunny eye movements and all sorts, so that they can, those significant emotional events and feelings that they feel, they've taken it out, they've dissociated it out onto the paper. They see it on the paper. They've colored it in with their own things, their drawings, how they've done it. And then we, as I say, the bunny eye movements get rid of it. And then they can redraw it again, how they're feeling now. And as I said, there's a lot more into it. It works. And that's how. So I'm giving people the how to work with a child.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is, John, is that this is also great for teenagers,
right? Because
with the teenagers, you can do the emotional intelligence diagrams as well. You can do the body thing. And I also do involve cuddly toys to check the work. And then what I've found out since I've been training it or talking about it at conferences, and I've needed volunteers to showcase it, because I love to showcase it, because I never have a problem, because I always know I'm going to get a result because it works. And the adults are naturally regressing into their child. So this is for inner child work as well.
And I can actually testify to that, because I saw it in Vegas this year, and I saw the tears. Not my own, but I saw someone's tears. Yeah, it was an inner child journey that an adult went on. Yeah, it was really powerful.
I know. And it's like, and every time, and I did this with a gentleman just the other night, and we were on the floor. So then we're playing on the floor. Shoes are off, we're on the floor. And then at one point he goes, can we sit back up? So I went, of course, because we're client-centered. We do what the client wants. And then we did another set of the eye movements. And he went, can we get back on the floor? Interesting. More change. He felt it more on the floor. Because then you've got to love it. And that's new to me as well. So I'm learning still, because every client's different.
Of course. Yeah. So there's no two clients are the same, no matter what. Process 100% can never be the same from one to the other, because it just doesn't suit. So it's aimed for the child, for an adolescent, and for an adult.
Yeah. For inner child work. Yeah. If the issue is from inner child, then you can use it with an adult. and then I've got a script in there for people to follow as well, because this isn't just for, I'm not training hypnosis. I'm training a tool, I'm training a technique. I've already trained it to therapists. And yes, in the manual that I have, there is a guided visualization.
Yeah.
Of course, a hypnotist can make it into hypnosis, and you can always then do, if you have the ability, you've been trained in parts work, you can do parts with them. That's what I did with this gentleman the other night, because I can.
Yes.
And because I'm trained in it. And, you can always add in bits that and that's what I love about this training that I've created, is that you can use that bit or that bit, and you don't have to do that bit because you might want to do that bit. And it's like, and I love that. And it's so exciting.
It's various components that come together that you pick and choose the ones you want, or maybe all of them together.
Yeah. And it is all of them together that I'm training, but it's somebody's choice.
And it's also, there's not that many people who train for particularly working with young children and adolescents. There's just not that many trainers out there.
No.
So,
and you can do this for a 5-year-old, as long as they've got the cognitive ability to understand colors and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's all through play.
Can you do it over Zoom as well, or does it all in person?
Yes, you can do it on Zoom, and I have done with teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done it yet with little ones over Zoom, because they would always generally come to me. Now, because then they would just draw a gingerbread man, and again, it's great. They are drawing their own gingerbread man. You see, not me. They are. And then they're filling in, and then I draw exactly what they've drawn over. So yes, you can. I train it online, and I train it in person.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be presenting on that in Dublin on the 5th and 6th of April. I can't wait to see it, because I've already seen it, so I have the advantage. But for everyone else, anyone who is interested in working with children, please go see this, because it is worth every moment of your time. It really is.
Yeah. And it's always fun.
Absolutely. And all going well, Claudia will also be doing a workshop on it after the conference itself is over. So on the day or two afterwards.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Claudia, I look so forward to seeing you in Dublin again. It was really great to see you in Vegas last year. This year, actually, geez, it's only a couple of months ago, wasn't it? People are going to love the talk. It's just going to be amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is, as I say, it's always good fun, because and you never know what's going to happen, because I never know who's going to be my volunteer. Nearly said victim.
Absolutely. No, there's no victims. There's only volunteers. Only volunteers.
My guinea pig. There you go.
Absolutely. There you go. Claudia, thank you. And to everyone else, all the details are on www.irishhypnotherapyconference.ie, and come see Claudia on the 5th and 6th of April in Dublin, and we all see you there. Have a wonderful evening. You're most welcome. Have a wonderful evening wherever you are. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.